full. Shall I restart? Yeah, we have a panel full of graduates of the Industrial Engineering Program. I would like to welcome all of you. Tonight, each speaker is going to have between 4 to 6 minutes to say something about themselves. During that period, I'll ask the speakers to turn on their cameras so that the audience can see them. I did not get your bios, so you have a couple of seconds of your talk to introduce yourself so that people will get to know you and see what you have done. So before we proceed, I would like to ask Professor Kitfai Pud, the Professor of Industrial Engineering at the faculty, to bring you greetings. And then we shall proceed from there.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Good evening, host Dr. Wallace. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all to join this special event. In my memory, this is the first kind of this type of event to have such a good number of our IE graduate and practitioner join this event. My role very simple. I just simply participate and welcome you all on behalf of the faculty, on behalf of the department, and on behalf of the IE office. And of course, thank you for all the work done to prepare this event by Dr. Sheila Pepperton as well as Dr. Ruel Ellis. Okay, back to you, Ruel.
Right, thank you very much, Professor. And well, I do not have an agenda, but I do have a list of speakers. And I guess I will not go randomly. I will go according to the flyer which was provided to me. And the first person on the flyer is Ms. Michaela Matthias, who is a senior management consultant at Ernst & Young in Toronto. So Michaela, all yours. Scylla, is it possible to put the spotlight on the speaker? Michaela, you only have 5 minutes. We're not hearing you.
My bad. Okay. No, I was waiting for the spotlight. Sorry about that.
No
Hi,
problem.
everybody. I'm Michaela. I graduated in 2020 from the IE program at UWI St. Augustine. Dr. Ellis was one of my profs. Right now, I am, as he mentioned, senior consultant at EY Toronto. I've worked in various industries, including power and utilities, manufacturing, and I've done a good bit of tech implementation. All of that to say that I do enjoy the variety of opportunities that we have as IEs to work on different processes and do different optimization programs. So yeah, nice to meet you guys, and I hope that you enjoy this session as much as I'm about to enjoy it.
Okay, thank you very much. That was short. That was less than your 4 minutes, but that's okay. Next, we'll have Dr. Kevin Hassanali.
Dr. Hassanali.
Hi, Dr. Ellis. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Yeah, so Kevin Hassanali here. I graduated from the IE program back in 2007, a long time ago. From then, I moved into manufacturing, where I started off as an industrial engineer on the factory floor, taking time studies. And then I moved past that time studies into operations, and then into the manufacturing sector, then into project management. And now I'm senior management level at Rentokil Initial Guyana. Is a service-based industry in the pest and hygiene business. For all those students who are, or prospecting students who are interested in doing IE, who may or may not be on the call, I would see the recording later on after this. This is specifically the type of engineering that you want to do, because it's a mix of all the different types of engineering, and it includes finance and so on and so forth. I'm pretty sure the other speakers will expound on this later on. Right? So Kevin Hassanali, looking forward to chatting with you all.
Okay, Thank you very much, Kevin. Up next, we have Miss Amrika Ramjawan, Senior Alliance Manager at Mayo Clinic Platform. Amrika.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Nice to see all of you here. So I graduated from UWI's IE program in 2010, and I spent some time in the Caribbean working in oil and gas for a couple of years before transitioning to the government, working in the public sector for a few years. And then I moved to the US, where I currently work in health tech. I'm glad to see so many of you here and look forward to chatting with you about, the value of an IE degree in transitioning across various industries. It's a very versatile program, and really good to see you, Dr. Ellis and Professor Flynn here.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Mr. Edward Casal, the CEO of Service Limited.
Prof, you should know how to pronounce my name by now.
I don't know, you abandoned me some time ago. Definitely.
So you caught me just at the right time. I just walked in the door I'm in Minneapolis, and I have come to a facilities management conference in which I'm speaking. So the context of that is that I graduated. I'm hearing some very people talking about a long time ago. I graduated in 1990 during the coup. And so that's 35 years ago. And then I ended up working in manufacturing, and I came out of a manufacturing background. So that's why I did IE, because back then we talked about the merging of the 5 M's. I don't know if we still call it that: man, machinery, methodology, capital, money. And there's another M somewhere there. Methods, correct, right? Process, right? So I spent many years in manufacturing, moved into project management within manufacturing, some pretty heavy equipment, and what the oil industry calls workovers, and installations. Then moved up into general management, doing some plant relocations, mergers and acquisitions, etc. And then about 12 years ago, shifted out of manufacturing entirely into service industry, providing facilities management for services. And in the facilities management work, we talk about people, place, and process. So very, very much, related to IE, and very much, incorporating IE principles and practices in what we do every day. And I also do consulting. I have my own private consulting that I do, process re-engineering, competencies programs, strategic planning, or mostly to manufacturing companies. So yes, industrial engineering, my degree has served me very well over the years, and I still identify first and foremost as an industrial engineer. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you very, very much. And we have changed the 5 M's a bit. It's now M5I, the I being information.
Right. I figured it would change over the years. Excellent.
Next up, we have Ms. Kalyani Mathura, an accountant manager at Huawei. Kalyani around?
She had a family emergency. Apologies, she just messaged before we started.
Okay, no problem. Moving right along, we have Jeremiah OG, Senior Financial Analyst at the TTIFC.
Hey, can everyone hear and see me? Okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Good night, everyone. And one minor correction, Prof. The TTIFC has rebranded within the last 2 weeks to the NPICTT, which is the National Payments and Innovation Company of Trinidad and Tobago. We're still trying to scrub out the old name, so no worries there. Hi, my name is Jeremiah Jai, as Prof would have introduced me. I graduated from the Industrial Engineering program in 2012. My journey to industrial engineering was an interesting one because I originally did not apply for that degree. I applied to the mechanical engineering. I did not get through. And when I was doing over some of my KEEP courses, a friend of mine suggested industrial engineering to me, and I ended up applying for that instead. And it has been the choice that changed my life immensely because from that degree, I've been able to work. I've been working for about 12 years professionally right out of university. And I've been able to work in manufacturing. I've done investment research. I've done agricultural research. I've done IT development. And I'm currently working at the NPI CTT, where we are doing digital payment solution development for the public and private sector organizations within Trinidad and Tobago, trying to bring some of that those digital currency and digital options to government payments to make it easier for the public to interact with government services. So there's a lot to be had from an industrial engineering degree. It's not just processes and systems alone. Once you really get into the core of what the degree teaches, you'd find that you could apply it pretty much anywhere. And I'd look forward to discussing that further with everyone here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Jeremiah has a good support of Miss Shani down there with him. Next we have Miss Shanice Cox, PFP project lead at eCohesion, Barbados. Shanice, I saw you there, so you cannot flake out on me.
Sorry, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Sorry that my camera is off. So my name is Shanice Cox. I applied directly for the industrial engineering program and then graduated in 2017. I left Trinidad. No, sorry, I graduated in 2021. And I left Trinidad in 2020 when the pandemic hit and returned to Barbados. So I finished my last year online. So I had a good blend of online teaching and physical teaching. When I returned to Barbados, or rather when I finished my degree in 2021, I did my final year project in project management specifically, and that's where I was interested. And I started working at eCohesion in June of 2021, and I've been there ever since. I started in sales, and right now I am a projects lead. And eCohesion specifically does wastewater treatment plant installations and water treatment plant installations. So essentially, I manage the projects team, and we do the plumbing, mechanical, sometimes oversee the civil works for wastewater treatment plants and water treatment plants across the Caribbean. So from an IE perspective, I lean towards project management, and that's where it's taken me. I spent months at a time in various islands, managing the project installation. So currently I am in Bermuda, managing a wastewater treatment plant installation for a hotel renovation here. And that's.
Thank you very much, Shanice.
No problem.
Next up, we have Miss Tony Lucio, Quality and Product Development at Grand Bay.
Hi, good night, everyone. So happy to be here. So I graduated with my IE degree in 2012. I must say that it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I feel as though it was a very widely applicable degree where it made me very knowledgeable with a lot of different things in my organization and being able to fit in a lot of places in my organization. So as I graduated, I started work straight out of university, and I started at Grand Bay Paper Products. I'm now the Quality and Product Development Superintendent. When I graduated university and I started there, I would have started in the Continuous Improvement Department. And then there we would have worked on like a lot of plant layouts for the factory as it was expanding. So I was able to use my courses from my degree straight off the bat, as well as the design courses that we would have done. AutoCAD really helped with that as well. From there, I would have then been moved to the production department, and I would have done a lot of training of the staff as well. And then I landed in quality control about 2 years after that, and that's been my home ever since. And I would say that from my degree as well, I would have done a lot of courses. I think it was like operations research and quality control and reliability. Those courses really helped to prepare me for my career in quality control. And even, you know, a lot of the different things that we would have, the concepts that we've learned in IE, like A3's root cause analysis, Ishikawa, statistics, run charts, all these concepts have been very instrumental in my career because, okay, even if I'm doing quality control, I would have to be a part of cross-functional teams and doing root cause analysis on the problems that are occurring in the plant. So I would safely say that my degree has put me at an advantage over my peers because a lot of the times a lot of the other degrees don't have a wide range of courses the way IE does, in my opinion. So I would say that it's a very fantastic option for someone choosing a degree.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Mr. Nigel Smith, Demand and Supply Leader, Answer Coatings. Mr. Smith.
Pleasant good night, everyone. Thank you for having me. I would have graduated from the Industrial Engineering program in 2019. Began my experience in IE at Answer Polymer, where I would have initially started in terms of maintenance, improvement, and optimization, more focused on a statistical process control. Then I would have moved to banking for a really short period of time, but I've done some process improvements. And then I would have found myself back again in manufacturing at Answer Coatings, where I started off as a raw material planner, then I've moved to a production planner, and finally I'm currently the demand and supply lead, as Dr. Ellis would have mentioned. Within my journey, I've implemented quite a lot of things I've learned in the IE program, from forecasting to aggregate planning, statistical process control, launching new products, product life cycle management and strategy, inventory management. So the program is quite diverse and it prepares you for a multitude of roles, and basically you can go anywhere and succeed and excel, as you'd have seen thus far from what the panel has said. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, this has been so efficient. It make me feel as though I'm an industrial engineer myself. Got 8 of you in 24 minutes, plus Professor Poon. I mean, what a lot of you don't know is that I am actually a graduate of the program myself. 1 year before Casal, 1989. And like you guys, yeah, my journey has been numerous, but I kind of stick with the tech, applying IE to agriculture systems, and these days applying IE to IP and technology development and economics. So, are there questions? I saw Scylla post a notice in the chat for people with questions to ask them. If there are no questions as yet, are there questions, Scylla? None as yet?
None as yet, but participants, feel free to ask any questions that you have. You can post in the chat, or you can put your raise your hand, and you can speak aloud and ask a question to anyone in the panel.
Okay, so in the meantime, I guess I will take advantage of the captive audience we've had. America, I think I recall when you were here, you were doing some stuff that was applying operations management to policing.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that?
Oh, that was quite a few years ago, but I
Yes,
think
it
at the
was.
time, yeah, it was actually like prison reform and a little bit of work with our local criminal justice system, sort of looking at how can we more efficiently move people through our prison system and then sort of get them back to life as citizens. So that was a very interesting process working with members of our judiciary and criminal justice system and the police service to sort of take a look at like what is that process like from the moment you might have been arrested through moving through the court system, getting court dates set, looking at the amount of time that takes, and then sort of looking at if you do get sent to prison, what does that journey look like in terms of the length of your sentence, which facility you would have been assigned to be staying at, and then like I said, they sort of exit from the prison system and back into a life as a citizen. So that was a lot of very in-depth process work and measurements in terms of figuring out like how long these things take today, and then looking for opportunities for efficiency in terms of how might we be able to move things a little bit faster given the complexity of all the interacting systems and bodies and individuals that contribute to making the system what it is.
Thank you very much. And I asked the question specifically to let our audience understand that we find ourselves solving various problems. I think I see a question. Can anyone speak on work in electrical engineering industry, power generation, renewable energy plants? I can't recall if anybody, somebody said oil and gas. I think it was you, Amrika. Anybody else?
I've
Yeah.
worked in a power plant as well.
Oh, okay. So Makila, you can have that one.
All right, and yeah, definitely open up the floor to Amrika as well. My experience in a power plant, when I graduated 2020, everybody knew what happened, right? That was COVID. After things kind of died down, I got a job. My first job after UE was at VINLEC, which is the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Electricity Services. I would say though that I was blessed enough to work with a classmate who was in the Mech-Eng program. So he is actually the plant engineer, Gary. I'm not sure if you guys would remember him. Gary Cumberbatch, but my experience, I would mention, was very similar to that of a mechanical engineer, where I worked with engine optimization. So we use diesel engines to generate electricity. And a lot of the work that I did was related to generation and transmission. But I also worked on some cool projects outside of the engines running. One of them was we had a tracking system that would allow the generation and transmission engineers to essentially look at where the vehicles are and see, okay, if it is that you have a project and you have to disconnect somebody at 9 a.m., are you at the shop at 9 a.m. or are you on the job site, right? So I'm just saying that to say that although we did a lot of work regarding optimizing some of the different engines and the auxiliaries that work to generate electricity, there were also some smaller projects on this side that I was able to get involved in. So for the person who asked the question, I could connect you to Gary. He would have a much more technical insight regarding generation and transmission of electricity. It might be a bit skewed to the mechanical engineering realm of things, but if you need a connection, he's a good person to have me connect you with.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Amrika, anything to add?
Yeah, so I worked on an oil refinery and downstream processing, sort of my first job out of UE, primarily in project management. So it was large scale turnaround of the equipment on the plant. So what we would do is we had this 10-year plan for shutting down various aspects of the plant that would process different types of fuels. So we would create this master plan for like shutting down the equipment, making sure that the overall plant remain functional while giving us an opportunity to do inspections of the equipment, figuring out what needed to be replaced, what might have been rusted through, what we needed to design, what we might have needed to outsource, what could we do ourselves with our in-house design team versus like what we needed to contract out. A lot of project management, a lot of design engineering, a lot of inspection, that material science course in year one, very useful. All of that came into play working on the refinery in that time.
Thank you very much. I'm not seeing another question, but I will throw one out to Jeremiah, Senior OG. I mean, you find yourself working in finance. How is that transition?
So the interesting thing about going into finance, I find myself in finance years later, is that I had a complete disdain for anything monetary, anything business, anything economics. So when I got the opportunity to work at what was then the TTIFC during COVID, I took the chance because it was one of those few organizations that was offering complete work from home, good benefits, stuff like that. And when I was confronted with the specifics and the nitty-gritty of economics, it was a bit daunting at first. However, as soon as I learned the terminologies and as soon as I learned the general process, I started applying my industrial engineering tools to it. Waste management, issues in areas and processes where you might see repeats or where you're moving backwards in the process to go back. And just applying those things, not necessarily knowing all the theory and all the formulation behind the finance, I was able to see things that persons who would have had degrees in economics and degrees in business management didn't see, because you find a lot of specialization. You find persons who know a lot about a little, but the industrial engineering degree allows you to know a little about a lot, so that you can start filling in the gaps and supporting persons who may have a lot of institutional and special knowledge, but can't see the connections, can't see the wires, so to speak, that connect 2 points together. This extended not just within the organization I'm working in, because the majority of our stakeholders are government agencies. And if you've ever been to a government office and you try to make a payment, you know almost every single thing is manual, right? It's cash. They are recording your payments in a book, man, with a pen. There's not a computer in sight. So when you speak to them and you try to introduce digital payments, a lot of people are very skeptical. They're very scared. And subject matter experts are very knowledgeable, but they're not good with people. And a key part of industrial engineering is people engineering as well. You have to know how to speak to people, how to show people the way forward in a manner that's not intimidating, that's not overly technical, but still gets the message across. So the combination of both the understanding processes intuitively and understanding people intuitively has so much application, not just in finance, but pretty much anywhere you go. So even if as a young industrial engineer, you may find yourself in an area or in a company that isn't focused specifically on what you may have studied, just look around for the processes, look around for the people, look around for the connecting points, and you'd find that you are able to apply solutions and find answers that persons who may have studied for years and years and years in that field couldn't see, because you have been prepared to see through those gaps.
Thank you very much. And we have a couple of interesting questions. The first one is from Achilles Glasgow. How does IE play a part in police reform? I don't know if anyone on the panel wishes to take that.
Yeah, so I can take that one. There's a lot of ways, especially today, I think with the availability and proliferation of data, like one way that IE can be applied is to improve operations through using some of that data. So enhanced crime patterns, tracking of where incidents might be taking place, collecting data on that type of activity, and sort of using that to figure out how can we more appropriately deploy resources to address crime in certain areas. That's certainly one area. Another area is with respect to training and performance management. A huge part of IE, like we just heard, has to do with people and making the best use of the people that you have. So I would say training and performance management, procedural improvements, like I talked about with the criminal justice reform, and deployment optimization of your resources is also some key areas that it can be applied in police reform.
Thank you. I believe we have a graduate who is at WASA. I believe she should be the area manager in South. Her final year project was actually looking at the statistics and simulating and being able to predict when certain types of crime were going to take place. So there's a lot that IE could contribute towards crime reform. Let's see, other question. Has anyone dealt with the optimization of road traffic systems? Is there anyone out there? No IEs? Ah, come on, that's a simple simulation problem. We've had projects floated, especially around the intersection in front of the university, in terms of how can you remodel the intersections in order to avoid the traffic? How could you change the just the timing on the traffic lights in order to reduce traffic? There are so many ways, but dealing with the traffic is at the end. If I must say, planning is where the problem is. And because we don't use IE in a lot of the planning up front, in a lot of things, the solutions which are implemented are seldom optimal. So if more IEs get employed from the planning side of things, maybe we can have better implementation and less traffic.
And traffic management is also like a network problem too. So you have to look at different systems. You have to look at like housing. You have to look at road traffic congestion. It's a system problem and not just like an IE problem. So simulation, operations research, modeling. There's technology now for intelligent transportation systems. All of that would come into play.
Thank you. Is project management the most prevalent form of industrial engineering? Who's going to take that? Mr. Casale, are you still there?
Looks like you're on mute.
Yeah, he's muted.
Okay. Edward?
Here I am.
Yeah. So take that for us. Take that for us.
So I think project management is very prevalent and has become more and more prevalent. And I think almost any IE you speak to will tell you that they at some point ended up in projects. But a lot of so I have done a lot of projects and continue to do so, but a lot of my experience has been process management, whether it's manufacturing processes or business processes, or in this case, technical service processes, which cover a wide gamut of engineering. I think to me, the most critical, I'll agree with Mr. Oji, I think that's his name, that it all comes back to people, right? I mean, we're not in the age, we may get there soon, where everything is being done by robots and AI. We still need, whether it's manufacturing process, and oil and gas, whatever industry or projects, always people heavily reliant on people. And I find more and more as I've gone through my career, my focus on people and getting the best out of people has been has come to the fore. In project management, back when I first started doing it 30 years ago, the focus was always achieve the technical objectives, right? On schedule, on scope, on budget, quality, etc., risk, and achieve that. But when you do these projects and then they're not properly adopted or properly used, then that's because the people part of it hasn't happened. And therefore, the whole idea of change management and getting people, especially with IT projects these days, getting people to actually accept and use and move and change to adopt these projects has become a big thing. So I would say projects are very important, but I think I'll still lean back on people, managing people being more important. So
Thank you very much. And right there is the reason why a lot of IEs end up in project management, because of the people factor, because projects cannot succeed unless you get the people into the work.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. The next question, I don't know. I mean, I can volunteer to take this unless somebody else wants to take it. How do students transition to IE from CSEC Industrial Technology and Technical Drawing? Shall I take it and ease you guys up? I used to be the chief examiner for CSEC Industrial Tech, and I have a background in technical drawing. So the transition into IE would require some physics, your mathematics, and at least CSEC chemistry. These days, to get into the faculty, if you do not have CSEC chemistry, you can come in and do chemistry in year 1 or do the pre-eng, which has some chemistry in it. So that's more or less the easiest way to get from CSEC into chemistry. Yes, Ms. Jacobs, go ahead.
Well, currently our program don't offer physics and chemistry. If you're doing industrial technology, you can do physics, but chemistry is set with electrical engineering. And the electrical engineering actually has more of the content than the chemistry does. Also, the chemistry is basic chemistry. It is not industrial inclined, but the electrical engineering for industrial technology, that is specific. They cover everything from installation to electronics in that CSEC course. So would that be the prime replacement for the chemistry along with the physics?
The reason why we need the chemistry is, if you recall, Amrita, I believe it was, who said the material science course in year 1 helped her in her transition into the oil industry. So we need people coming into the program with an understanding of O-level chemistry to be able to understand materials. But as I'm saying, if the person does not have O-level chemistry, CSEC chemistry, they can still get into the program. We waive it, but you need to do a chemistry course within your first year at the university. So that is possible.
Dr. Ellis, I would also add that, like, if anyone is planning to move to the US later on and looking to get their credentials as a professional engineer, A-level math, physics, and chemistry is required to do foundations of engineering and the professional engineering exams. So those are important if you plan to credential later on as well.
Thank you very much. Next question.
Currently, chemistry has the lowest enrollment among the sciences. And specifically, finding qualified chemistry teachers is difficult. As a result, I have to assist the chemistry teacher and teach chemistry content along with the electrical engineering content, so those planning to move on to CAPE are not left behind.
Congratulated and commended for the hard work. But as I said, at the faculty, we have recognized this maybe about 5 to 8 years now, and we have put things in place to ensure that students are not prejudiced by not having the CSEC chemistry. Next question. What advice does Ms. Tony Lucio, directed at you, Tony, have for a young engineer in the tissue making industry? That's the first part of it. And I can continue the second part. How did your degree help you prepare for your management role? And do you recommend the paper making field for an upcoming engineer? Tony?
Hi, yes, good night again. So I would say I would just probably maybe skip to the second question. I would say that it really helped me prepare for my management role because of all the courses I would have done, I remember there was a Dr. Pounder and he would have done the ergonomics course, and I was really kind of very interested in that course. It was a very new and novel concept at the time, and he was teaching us about ergonomics and time studies and efficiency, and he was showing us about the production of, I think it was pens, and how we had to utilize both of our hands to produce these pens, and just that concept of wastage of efficiency being wastage of movement and transport, extra transport being extra wastage of time. That was a novel concept to me, and I really enjoyed that. And ever since then, I've been kind of like obsessed with efficiency, to the point where now I tend to like to do that a lot in my organization. My organization, in terms of the pulp and paper manufacturing organization, the margins are lower as compared to like a service industry, like maybe like IT or fast moving consumer goods. It's much lower. I think it's like 4% as opposed to like 30%. So there's a very big push in the pulp and paper making industry to be very, very lean and very, very efficient. So we have like a lot of projects such as value creation programs where the company is kind of obsessed with how do we drive costs down, and how do we, create something out of nothing. And I think that's, my company is very interested in hiring industrial engineers. So we always seek them out every single year. We have internship programs every year for IEs where we would hire at least 2, because it's a very relevant degree to our organization in terms of driving down cost and efficiency. So I would say that it helped me directly prepare for my role there. And advice for, any young person in any industry, just keep seeking qualifications, keep seeking information. Don't ever feel like, you finish school and you don't want to continue education. So I would say, keep working on that.
Thank you very, very much. Next question relates to matriculation into PM. I sent Ms. Narcis a message, so we will not deal with that here. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Good night. Cindy McPherson writes, good night to everyone. My son is now in Form 5. Where are the steps after CSEC? What are the steps after CSEC? Should he have an interest in IE? I believe Dr. Pemberton has placed the links in the chat that helps to answer your question, Ms. McPherson. I don't know if anybody else wish to add anything. Okay, I see and Sila's already responded. Any more questions? AI Tech. UN1 program, yes. Yes, N1 is also a possibility. Okay. Right. Does training in 5S and lean engineering give you an advantage, or give an advantage to an engineer in the job market? Somebody? Anybody?
I could take that one.
Okay. Yeah, she found her camera.
Well, I actually did a 5S internship with banks here in Barbados. That was, I think, my second year or my third year. So I would say, yes, it does give you an advantage. It just depends on the company that you're looking to work with. A lot of companies that are internationally based and have operations in the Caribbean actually take a look at 5S and lean manufacturing and that type of thing. It'll just give some context as to what Banks is. Banks is a beer manufacturing company in Barbados. It's owned by a South American company right now, and they have these 5 pillars, and one of those pillars is specifically 5S. So when I went into Banks as an intern, I was tasked with making their process in a pasteurizer a bit more efficient. A pasteurizer is essentially the machine that I would say holds the freshness of the beer, for the lack of deeper explanation. Making the pasteurizer more efficient, and then in its entirety, making the line more efficient as it goes from machine to machine. So I would say, yes, there is a big push for 5S and lean manufacturing, especially in companies that have international or overarching company, because that 5S transitions down from Banks to St. Vincent Brewery, which I also did work for, as well as Grenada Bottling, because they're all within the same group of companies. Yeah. CBTT as well, I think, is in there, in that little caveat as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would even add to that as well, Shanice, on a global scale, I've worked at a Pepsi manufacturing plant in Toronto. And similarly, because it's a manufacturing plant, the whole idea of my team working there was to essentially find the bottlenecks and optimize. So you're dealing with things like center lines and so on, optimizing the machines to make sure that they reduce waste. My line was the Gatorade line specifically. So you would look at machines like the cappers to make sure that they're capping properly, that sort of thing, right? So where I'm going with this is 5S and Lean Six Sigma was the basis of the program that we were running. It was called Integrated Work Systems. That's a PNG program that is actually, they're mandating a lot of the manufacturing companies to adopt their system. And so I would definitely echo what Shani said in terms of it is a value add in environments like manufacturing environments.
Thank you very much. And we have 8 minutes more. So, any more questions? As a former CSEC and CAPE moderator, I saw a decline in the quality of facility equipment and staff training since 2016. How can we change attitudes in administration? Wow. I don't know. Any industrial engineers out there want to take that up? No? Okay, cool. Attitudes in administration, and you're talking specifically education administration. Couple things I have seen. I have had the privilege of traveling most of the islands and speaking to the administrators in schools where they offer TechVoc subjects. And it's the same from Guyana all the way to Jamaica. It's not something administrators wish to do because, according to them, it's too expensive. And given governments in the region have been cutting back on money which goes towards education, one of the first things administrators cut off are your reagents, your materials. So that's the end of your metal work, end of your woodwork, end of your chemistry. And so I don't know if it's the administrator's fault. I believe a lot of our governments are not seeing the, what should I say, the real purpose of proper TechVoc education. I mean, even though we want to talk about innovating and being creative, but if you do not put the systems in place to support it, which is what should happen in our schools, nothing is going to happen. So it's more than the administrators. It's somebody needs to find some proper way of financially supporting the education systems so that we get the best students matriculating into the university to create innovators. That's all I will say on that at this point in time. Why do you all say industrial engineering is one of the more AI-proof jobs? Oh, would you say that? Okay. I don't know. Let's see. Kevin, sounds like something for you. Is Kevin around? Hey, Kevin, what's going on? Okay.
Sorry about that. No. Yes. Couldn't find my speaker there.
Couldn't find your mute. Okay.
The mute, yes. How can I help you? Could you repeat the question?
Question: Why would you all say that industrial engineering is one of the more AI-proof jobs?
So why are you asking me that question?
No, you've been a senior man, a
I would-
PhD.
I would say certainly yes, because there is no automation, there is no robot, there is no AI, artificial intelligence, that can do what IE does in the background. In fact, before AI, IE's role were to cut staff, make things more efficient. So I would just say that the algorithms can do it much faster than a human being, but someone still needs to be that strategic thinker and that creative, that innovator to really get it done. So I would say AI cannot replace IEs. AI cannot stand on a shop floor with a stop clock to observe whether you have the right, most optimum layout of your machinery and equipment on a plant, for example, keying in banks and so on. So yes, it's AI proof, I would say. Unlike our brothers and sisters in the other engineering fields.
Kevin, I would challenge you a little bit on that, though. I would say, like, I would say that IE is a little, the profession would evolve. It wouldn't like go away with AI, but in terms of what you said with respect to not being able to do the monitoring, we have video technology now that actually can do a lot of that monitoring. So you have vision systems that can actually do a lot of product defect detection. What that does for an IE is enhance the standard of quality control systems that you can implement. So I would say AI would help make IEs more efficient, would help us do our jobs better, reduce a lot of the manual work for us, would still be needed to do system design and orchestration in terms of optimizing end-to-end systems, but we'll have a lot more technology at our disposal today to do the work that would have been done manually in the past.
But you
Agreed.
have supported what he said.
I just didn't want to say it, so I thumbs up.
Less manual work, essentially.
Yeah, because what you've done is actually demonstrated that, which is one of the core areas of industrial engineering, to look at technology and determine where can the technology be applied within industry, right? I remember one of my professors in the UK, he said to us, if technology could do what a human being can do, then replace the human being, because the most significant part of the human is the brain. And if a machine can do it, then you're wasting a human, right? And that's what guides me when I have such decisions to make, right? How can we utilize technology to complement the work that humans are doing, thus making the human more efficient?
Yeah.
So yes, so we are AI proof.
And one thing they like to say where I work at Mayo is that, I work in healthcare. A lot of our physicians are starting to use AI. What we tell our physicians is, AI will not replace you, but doctors who use AI may replace doctors who don't. So as engineers, perhaps we need to think about that with respect to adopting technology. Engineers who take advantage of the technology will be better at what they do than engineers who don't.
Thank you. For those on the panel, I think this might be the last question. For those on the panel who wanted to do IE from the start, what was your reason for choosing over something like mechanical engineering? Cody? Okay, Edward.
I can speak to that. So I grew up, I was very fortunate to grow up in an environment where my family's business was a furniture manufacturing business. So I grew up in a factory. So to me, studying industrial engineering or electrical engineering, just running production, running operations, building things, managing people. And in my case, looking at my father, looking at markets, finance, and how it all ties together was kind of, I wanted to do that. I wanted to be able to take a holistic viewpoint, but still do engineering. And I think somebody was talking about that earlier, how industrial engineering really helps you create a holistic viewpoint. And I don't think it's about knowing a little bit about a lot. I think a good industrial engineer can become very good at many things that all intersect and intertwine in a network. So I wanted to do it from the start because I wanted to be that. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Giving one more person an addition. We got 30 seconds before I hand you over to Dr. Pemberton.
I could add to that as well, Dr. Ellis.
Okay.
I would say in my case, I actually did research to see, what careers are gonna be around for the long haul, what makes the most money, and what are in the most demand, right? And industrial, I remember that being the top of the list. I was at the dining room table with my daddy doing the research at the time. And what that has materialized into is, although I did not see it in the Caribbean, in my work experience, a lot of the times I had to explain what IEs do, back home when I did have my first jobs after graduating. But since moving, I've realized that on a global scale, industrial engineers are understood and accepted to be the standard. I've gotten on projects where, somebody would reach out to me. Usually at work, you have a system, you look at the person's CV, if they qualified, you bring them on. And someone reached out to me and they said, all I needed to see was that you did industrial engineering and I could teach you what you need to do. And I'm saying that to say that, in the wider scheme of things, people are coming to terms with the fact that our curriculum and our base of knowledge is wide. And, we come with a bunch of skills that most specialized engineers might not be exposed to, and that in itself is value enough to pursue industrial engineering. You can literally become a lawyer after, right? It is very flexible, and it's a great starting point.
Thank you. The only thing I will add to that is in 2020, the US Department of Labor specified that by the year 2030, 40% of all new jobs, and I quote, new jobs will be for industrial engineers. And they saw that based on the fact that technology was evolving so fast, and IEs are the only ones with the capability of synthesizing this technology and implementing them in the human being to make processes more efficient. So, Dr. Benjamin, I think my hour is up. I am going to hand it over to you. I thank the panel, those who are here. Kalyani, we missed you. Makila, thanks. Kevin, great work, keep it up. America, thank you. Continue flying the flag. Edward, hey, lovely job, my brother. Jeremiah, keep it up. Shanice, I'll have to speak to your boss about you. Tony, nice seeing you. And Nigel, nice seeing you also. What did you do? Don't get worried. I'll talk to him. Don't get worried. Is Corey still there with
In
us?
fact, Dr. Alex also taught my boss. Because how I got the introduction to receive my job. So fun fact.
So, Stella, are you going to close us off?
Okay, everyone, thanks for attending our session. And we hope to be having many more of these where we can update you. Again, thanks to the panelists and most especially to the participants. And feel free at any time to reach out to us I will put my email in the chat. You can email me if you need further information. It is just my name at ue.edu, scylla.pemberton@ue.edu. So you can feel free to reach out to us if you need any further information. And we hope that you will join the IE family. Happy Industrial and Systems Engineers Day, everyone.
See. I win.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis.
Have a great evening, all.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Okay, I'm gonna end it now.